quite interesting when we talk about the issue of micromanaging. And why am I saying it's interesting? For two reasons. Number one is because in my interaction with bosses who found themselves micromanaging staff, they don't like it at all. It's not something that they enjoy doing, contrary to the people who are being supervised, the employees. Bosses don't like to micromanage. The other issue is now also when I talk to the employees and they perceive their bosses to be a micromanager, it also doesn't go well. So you find that workplace becomes very toxic because these parties, it's not that they like doing that to each other. So the staff would want to be given space to do their work. And for the boss also, you'd want just to be getting regular updates and not a situation where constantly you'll be asking for reports, you'll be asking what this person is doing. I remember early on in my career, I was working for this organization and we had this boss it was a requirement for him. Every email you are sending out, we had to copy him. Every conversation, whether it's internal or external, he had to be kept in the picture. And the worst thing is, you could be here, you've just written an email, and sometimes he doesn't even know the contents of the email, and he'll call you to his office so that you explain what the email is all about. And it had gotten to a situation where he would even request that after you're done with the day, on your way out of the office, you go and alert him that, Mr. So-and-so, I'm done with my day. And sort of, it's like you're asking for permission. So obviously, I know that's to the extreme. I know micromanaging doesn't have to get to that level, but this is something that we experience on a day-to-day basis. So today I'll share with you some of the top reasons why bosses micromanage. And the first one is they miss doing their own jobs rather than overseeing employees who are now doing that job. So you normally find if someone has recently been promoted, it's given that they've stopped doing what they were doing on a day-to-day basis, and now their job description has expanded to incorporate that leadership role now that they are a boss. So you'll find there's a very high probability that if this person was not well oriented to leadership, they don't even have training, there's a tendency to go back to prefer to go back and do the same job that they were doing before they became a boss. So there's that element, human being, change is not easy, even if it's positive. So even if you've been promoted to a boss and you liked dealing with customers, so you might find you're on your way to the office and the person now you've delegated to be handling customer is doing your job, and you might miss that. You might miss the excitement. The second reason is fear and mistrust from the boss. Okay, so for some bosses, they feel that regardless of who is in that desk, they feel that no one is capable apart from themselves. I know it's a bit selfish, it's even a bit immature, but yes, at the end of the day, your boss is also a human being. So there's that tendency for some bosses to feel that there's no other employee who can do such a great job as I, as a boss. And again, this will also, the fear and mistrust comes in where, now that I've been promoted, or now I'm the one in charge of this docket, I don't want my team members to fail me. Okay, so instead of now waiting until end month, so that the boss realizes, oh, so and so Jane or James did not do their stuff, you'll find that they would want constant update where you are, so that you don't fail him. So if you're a team member and you realize that your boss, you see that it's actually fear and the mistrust that is driving them, then I would highly recommend that you give them constant updates so that at least the bosses know where they are, where you are, and they will sort of leave you alone to do your job. So the third reason is people in leadership, our bosses, they are human beings. So it's normally people who are in a leadership position, you normally find that they are very highly driven. These are people who are very ambitious, and with ambition, with being at the leadership level, there's the issue of perfection and power. So there's a study which was done by the Harvard Business Review, and they saw that 48% of the bosses, they like to be seen as experts and to have authority. So some of the bosses then, they misuse that authority by constantly checking on the employees to see how they are doing, and just some of them, they just want to feel their presence is felt. So perfection and power tendencies, that's also the third reason. So in summary, we have bosses who miss doing their own job rather than overseeing employees who now do that job. There's also the issue of fear and mistrust, especially where the bosses feel that the employees is not capable. And then we have the issue of perfection and power. So how do you deal with a boss who's a micromanager? I'll start with an employee who's looking to improve the situation. So my advice to you would be, first do a good job. So follow through whatever the boss is telling you to do. But then, when things are okay, when the boss is not putting you under pressure, just request for a meeting and get to understand from the boss's perspective, how would he like you to be working? What is his style of working? Does he want to be updated on a daily basis? Does he want you to send an email every time something new happens? Or, as some bosses, does he only want you to go to him if you've tried something and you've not gone and tried? So I believe if both parties are able to understand each other's working style, then you find the chances of conflict are minimal. And that is why I recommend to employees, whenever you join a new organization, it's very important. Part of understanding your job description and being able to settle in fast, the other thing you should pay attention is, what is the working style of your boss? Is he a person who comes to work at 6 a.m. and they leave at 2 p.m. and so their window of working is just 4 hours, so they're trying to do a lot within that 4 hours, so you must try and fit in there. So it's very important to understand the working style of your supervisor. What about the person being perceived as a micromanager? I have 4 tips for you. Number 1, as a manager, you should strive to be a team leader. It is not your work to oversee every step being taken by an employee. So strive to be a team leader. See yourself as an overseer and not a person who goes to every retro step that is being taken by the employee, because it's very demotivating if you have to constantly ask for update. Number 2 is make sure you hire the right person for the job. I know a lot of mistrust comes in when you feel that this staff is not doing a good job. So the way to handle that is from making sure that you understand the job at hand and who's best suited to handle that job. The other thing is, now that you have the right person on board and now you're acting as a team player, I would also recommend tip number 3, that you establish clear guidelines on what you want from your staff. From where I see it and my experience, I don't think people mean any ill. Employees are not these dummies who just want to waste time. No, I believe if you give people clear guidelines, KPIs if you like, then they will work hard towards achieving those KPIs. But where there are no guidelines, someone joins your department, your organization, and there's no job description, there's no performance management system, it's totally chaos, then don't be surprised that every day you are really stressed following up on what these employees are supposed to do. So those are the main 3 reasons why I feel some bosses tend to micromanage. However, I have a bonus reason where you find your boss could be threatened by you. So it does happen where someone is hired and they come and you find they are doing a pretty good job, even better than what the boss was able to perform in the past. So in such a situation, if you're working for an insecure boss or supervisor, chances you'll find that then they would want to put you in your place. And putting you in your place means them constantly asking for updates. You know, they want to show you that, yes, you've come here, you have this MBA, you're overqualified than me, or you're doing such a fantastic job, but never forget that I'm the boss. Always remember, at the workplace, yes, beyond us having all these nice titles, we are human beings. And some people, when they feel threatened, they behave that way. So in conclusion then, as a boss, what can you do to ensure that you are not micromanaging your staff? So I had talked about the issue of training, and 2 trainings that would come in very handy for you to be able to develop as a leader and oversee the team in a better way. One of the training is coaching. I would highly recommend coaching for any aspiring team leader. And the other training is on delegation. Anything on delegation and leadership would really help you, such that you move from being a micromanager to a boss that people want to work for, people want to report for. Because micromanaging doesn't work. It makes the workplace very stressful. It forces you as a boss to always be stressed, because you feel that things are not working to your expectation. And for the employees, I would tell you, it really, really makes the workplace a very hard place for them to cope. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.